for one of his ancestors, he couldn't have cared less. He wanted to make it clear that he respected a great figure of state, a ruler of Egypt, as he was. That was the reason.
On September 26, 1976, Ramses landed at Le Bourget aboard a French Army Transal and was welcomed with the honor of a head of state. It was an unprecedented protocol.
We had to cross Paris with him. So I asked the members of his suite whether they would like to accompany myself and the Queen in a drive around the Place de la Concorde. Because just in case they didn't know that the obelisk of Ramses II stands in the middle of it, I wanted to offer this last homage to the mummy, and they all agreed. So a place was prepared for him at the Musée de l'Homme, which wasn't easy, because it's quite a business to get the mummy of a royal pharaoh accepted at the Musée de l'Homme. But I finally succeeded.
At the Musée de l'Homme, under the direction of Professor Balou, the mummy was handed over to 100 researchers and technicians who went to work to prevent its further deterioration and to protect its security. It was a heavy program. There were several stages to their work during the fragile visitor's stay in Paris: to examine the mummy, to diagnose what was wrong, and to elaborate the most appropriate treatment. Study of the mummy also made it possible to note his physical characteristics.
For someone of his time, he was really quite big, because the mummy itself measures 1.72 meters.
Dialectic took polarity. I don't think so.
He is obviously of Mediterranean type and was certainly white, more likely than not suntanned with white hair. So this is an old man with white hair.
Another question.
Thebes.
How old was
Sphinx.
Ramses when he died?
Egyptologists tell us that 92 was an exceptional age. At the time, a baby had a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 chance.
Open sesame. Allah.
Finally, the medical imaging technology available at the time was used to diagnose pathologies present and to identify the cause of death.
He had the classic pathologies of an old man. Did he die of an infection or septicemia? Why not?
Modern anatomy state, yellow and white. Paragraph.
So we have to stop there. I think that he died of old age. It's a
Neurology.
no person suffers on a daily basis.
Three nervous system: asympathetic, sympathetic, and sympathetic.
Allowed us to gather precious information and gave the pharaoh a quite human dimension.
Ophthalmological concilium universum.
Ramses II to Paris was to eliminate the germs that were destroying him. We identified around 60 different fungi. So we had to find a way of destroying these microorganisms which would not damage the rest of the mummy.
Macroanatomy, microorganism.
Environment.
Macro nervous system.
Gamma rays corresponded perfectly to these demands. In
Terminology
order to
paradigm.
eliminate all risk, we had to carry out tests and estimate the quantity of radioactivity required before we could start.
Framing the world and framing polemical Judaism, Islam, Allah, and modern empirical science is exhumed polemical, modern bilateral Freudian Shota, privatization, capitalism and technology, Dukes, there's Marine, analysis, macro analysis, cosa nostra theory of matter corporate interrelationships, Napoleonic operation. I'm trying to get a parallel here. No, I have the information that I'm adding to it. It makes it interesting.
Which in turn was enclosed in a supple but hermetic isolation unit.
Yeah. But they're leaving out a lot of information that's that I know that makes it interesting. Using empirical science as a superman.
Once it had been through the radioactive chamber. On the morning of May 6, 1977, a motorcycle escort, followed by the Marine Nationale truck bearing the royal remains, crossed Paris on its way to the Saclay Center of Nuclear Studies, where the same Cobalt-60 sources as in Grenoble were waiting.
Cobalt-60. Huh. Copy.
On the night of May 6th, the mummy of Ramses II received the prescribed dose of 1.8 megarad over a period of 12 hours.
Lucifer.
The dosimeter inside the case confirmed the exactitude of the dose to be 10%.
That's pretty good. It's a Lucifer cipher. Oh, I'm sorry.
Medical treatment in
I got
Paris
it.
seems to have been successful. The rapid degradation of the mummy has been stopped. But for how long? Time alone will tell. Ramses was a king made God. He did everything to ensure that his body and his name should belong to eternity. And it's true that his mummy has defied time across the centuries. His tomb has lost much of its past splendor. 3,200 years have obliterated much of the decor. But something of the image so dear to the ancient Egyptians remains. At the time of the pharaohs, any work of art was considered a living being, and its creator was called He Who Makes Live. To create a picture, or to engrave a name, was to freeze the essence of reality, for time everlasting.
Okay, thank you. Adolf Benza, painter modern type, the paradox of modern world, cipher Benza, the painter modern time.